What's going on, everybody? My name is Alex Wilson, and my co-host beside me, Anthony Rivardo from Fireside Giants. This is an Empire Sports Media production. You're listening to the Fireside Giants podcast. If you are a diehard Giants fan, you've come to the right place. Daily episodes, interviews, draft content, and so much more. Make sure to drop a like and a subscription below on YouTube. Don't forget to leave a comment. We love to engage with everybody, and people love to engage with you. So help us build that community that we can all be a part of and enjoy together. Today's episode, looking at Daniel Jones, fifth-year option. What do we do there? Coming up in May, the team has to make a decision if they're going to pick up that option, pay him $20+ million guaranteed for the 2023 season. And I have a couple of reasons, specifically 3 reasons that I don't think the Giants should do it. I think Anthony's probably in the same boat. Most people are in the same boat, and for most of the same reasons, because ultimately we don't know what Daniel Jones is. 24 touchdowns as a rookie, 11 his second year, 10 this past season. So while his touchdowns have been going down, his completion percentage is going up incrementally from about 61% to 64%. Has a decent arm. He's mobile. But how do we get the best out of Daniel Jones? I want to talk about that a little bit, talk about his contract and why the Giants should decline that moving forward. Anthony, before we do, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing really good. I like Daniel Jones a whole lot. I think he's an awesome person. I really did believe in him at a point, but going forward, do I think that he is the long-term solution as the franchise quarterback of the New York Giants? I'm not so sold. Honestly, I'm not sold. And that's kind of the main thing, right? Is it whether or not I believe he could be one day, because I believe there's a chance, there's a scenario out there where Daniel Jones can develop into the guy. But has he proven to be the guy just yet? In my opinion, no, he hasn't. So for that main reason, I don't think that the Giants should pick up his 5th-year option. But I'm excited to discuss it with you, Alex, because Daniel Jones has had a decent career to this point. I mean, it hasn't lived up to the expectations of being a 6th overall pick. It hasn't been what we wanted it to be. But he's also had a lot of reasons, that the Giants gave him not to succeed. They screwed him up, as John Mara said, right? They did a whole lot of bad for him. Bad offensive coaches, offensive coordinators, bad offensive lines, bad head coaches. He's really just been dealt at the shittiest hand possible, Daniel Jones has. So going forward, he's definitely here this upcoming season. He's the starting quarterback, and this is kind of his make or break year. Now, we said year 3 was the make or break for him. Got kicked down the can because of the offensive coordinator situation. So he's got one more opportunity to prove himself to the Giants, whether or not he's that franchise guy. But should that really determine, because he has one more season upcoming to prove it, should they really go ahead before that season even begins and tell him that he's going to be here for his 5th year? I'm not sold on that line of thinking.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And guys, let me know in the YouTube comments. We got to name the bear. We have to name the bear. What's the bear's name going to be? I don't know. Like something Giants related though, for sure. I meant the Yankees bear, but he has some blue and white there. So he got some Giants colors. It's actually a really cool bear. I got it the day before the old Yankee Stadium closed. So 2008, the day before they were doing a whole tribute for the stadium and whatnot, and they gave out these bears, and somehow it's survived the last couple decade. I guess the last decade really. I can't believe how fast time flies sometimes. I remember going to that game with my dad, and now this bear has made its way all the way here. But ultimately, bear needs a name, need help making bear name, and Daniel Jones needs to be a better cornerback. And here's the first reason, right? Okay, 3 reasons the Giants should say, screw off Daniel Jones in his 5th-year contract, his 5th-year option. The first one is he's not proven, right? We don't know what Daniel Jones is. We know he can run fast on a straight line. We know he can throw. He's got a decent arm going downfield. He throws laser beams, which is not what Kenny Golladay really needs. He needs more lofted football. So if Daniel Jones is going to be his best self, it's going to come down to coaching. It's going to come down to Brian Dable. It's going to come down to Mike Kafka. It's going to come down to his offensive line and how well they are coached as well. I think Daniel Jeremiah posted a picture today talking about the last 5 years Super Bowl teams. I think there was only 3 first-round offensive linemen in those Super Bowls, and then you have like 3 third-round picks. Most of them were veteran free agents or undrafted free agents. Interestingly, so it's interesting, right? The Giants need to fix the offensive line first and foremost, and the coaching will be better. They're talking to him progressively, trying to develop a better system that focuses on plays he likes to run and that maximizes his strengths. Now, Anthony, I'll ask you this: what are Daniel Jones' strengths in your opinion?
Taking care of the football and not committing turnover with it. No, I'm just kidding. That's his biggest weakness is the turnovers. His biggest strength absolutely is his athletic ability, his mobility. When he gets out of the pocket, he's fast. He is arguably top 3 fastest quarterback in the NFL. Of course, you got Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. Those guys are really fast, but Daniel Jones is sneakily just as fast as them almost. Like, he's not there, but he's pretty freaking close. When he's on a straight line and he's moving pretty damn quick. And that's something that I feel like the Giants haven't fully emphasized in their offensive game plans over the last couple of years, right? I feel like he hasn't ran the ball or been given that many opportunities to run the ball in comparison to some of the other quarterbacks who are this athletic, because Daniel Jones is super athletic, super fast, and he really can run with the football, and he absorbs contact pretty well. Now, I understand he's gotten banged up and he's been injured a couple times recently, but a lot of that, I guess, is just the fact that he doesn't have the best awareness, doesn't go down when he's supposed to, fights too hard on some of those extra plays. But I feel like those are things that could be coached out of him. I think he could improve on that stuff and just become a smarter running quarterback. But I think his rushing ability is definitely his biggest strength. Now, I also think that his accuracy throwing the ball deep is a strength, because in 2020, his second season, he did throw the ball really well deep. He just didn't get to do it very often. And in 2021, he got to do it, but he also didn't get to do it often. Once again, Jason Garrett just didn't like to throw deep shots downfield. But when Daniel Jones threw the ball downfield, he was very accurate. Now, he wasn't always accurate like he was the season before, because in 2020, he was like ridiculously accurate throwing the ball deep. 2021, I think he took a little bit of a step back, but we expected that because it was just so good in 2020. But he also just isn't throwing the ball downfield enough. And I think I know that's going to change with Brian Dable and Mike Kafka running this offense now. I mean, these are two guys who, Buffalo Bills offense, Kansas City Chiefs offense, they like to spread the ball out. They like to throw the ball deep. They like to take their fair share of shot plays downfield. Daniel Jones is going to have a lot more opportunities to throw the ball deep, especially to guys like Kadarius Toney, who's got all the speed in the world. Guys like Kenny Galladay, who hopefully can get better and improve on last season, because he's got that big body and that big frame to go up there and make those catches. So I'm really hoping that Daniel Jones is able to throw the ball more, throw the ball deep more often, and hopefully he can maintain the same level of accuracy that he's shown in the past, because I think that his ability to throw the deep ball with accuracy is one of his biggest strengths.
And we've been hoping the Giants would develop a more downfield-centric scheme for years, trying to maximize that strength exactly. So the number one reason, though, that the Giants should not pick up his fifth-year option is none other than his inconsistencies, and we don't know what he's capable of doing at a high level yet. If he can do anything at a high level, we don't know. He makes terrible decisions sometimes. He locks on with his eyes to specific reads. I think that Brian Dable will help him a tremendous amount in that regard, because he will play a more spread offense instead of playing this really condensed West Coast Norv Turner style offense where you're talking about rolling out to the right side and condensing the field. You're playing a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 2 tight ends. You have 2 receivers and you have extra blockers because the offensive line can't block. It was just a freaking shit show last year, man. I can't even stand to even remind myself how bad it was. It was that bad. I just want to forget all of last year pretty much. But the second reason the Giants should not pick up his fifth-year option is because just use the franchise tag. The franchise tag will probably be about $6 to $7 million more than his fifth-year option, but that's okay because you need the leverage in the situation. If he doesn't pan out, which is the third reason they shouldn't do it, the third reason they shouldn't pick up his fifth-year option, it kind of coincides with the second reason, is because the 2023 draft class is stacked full of quarterbacks. Spencer Rattler, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Richardson from Florida. There's a ton of quarterbacks in this draft class the Giants can target. And I'll tell you what, if Daniel Jones sucks next year and he doesn't play well, the Giants are going to be bad again, guys. We're going to have a top 10 pick again. Don't you mistake it. If Daniel Jones sucks, we will have another top 10 pick. And we'll be in line for another quarterback. We'll just trade up and get another quarterback. It'll be that easy. All the teams that have been bad the last couple of years, who have already gotten their quarterbacks, the Bears, Jacksonville, Miami has Tua, and it seems like they're keeping Tua. Like teams that are kind of on the fringe, Denver, they're probably going to get a quarterback this year. Pittsburgh will get a quarterback this year. The bad teams, the teams that need quarterbacks, are getting them this year. The Giants will have a good opportunity to trade up with a team that doesn't need one, maybe like Jacksonville, and walk away. Maybe Houston is another team. They still have Deshaun Watson. We'll see how that goes. But, they do like David Mills as well. But when I'm looking at this, the second and third points coincide, right? The second point being the Giants can easily hit him with the franchise tag. It's a little bit more expensive, but it gives them the leverage in the situation to make the decision based on what they want to do. And the third one is the 2023 class is stacked. Don't bet on Daniel Jones right now with the fifth year when you can go out, get a Bryce Young, and have a more foundationally built team. The offensive line hopefully takes a step forward. The weapons are better coached. the scheme is implemented, and you inject your young quarterback in there that's cost controlled, that you can really, really develop with Mike Kafka, who helped develop Patrick Mahomes, and you have Shea Tierney, and you have maybe not Shea Tierney, but and then you have what's his name? Brian Dable, who helped develop Josh Allen. Tremendous coaches all around to help your young quarterback. Those are the three things, I think, the last two being super influential. And I think, Anthony, you'll probably agree with that as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think this is a great coaching staff that the Giants have built. A lot of great guys out there who've developed good quarterbacks. I mean, that's the main thing. If Daniel Jones is ever going to succeed, it's going to be under this coaching staff because Brian Dable worked with Josh Allen, got him to succeed. I mean, if you think back to Josh Allen's first couple of years of his career, he was not a good quarterback after 2 years. Like, he struggled with accuracy. He struggled with everything. Basically, the only thing that he was really good at was running the football. And that's kind of similar to Daniel Jones. He's got that athletic ability. He's a great rusher from the quarterback position. And that's exactly what Josh Allen was in his first 2 years. But then they reined Josh Allen in, got him better in the pocket, got him to be more accurate with the football and much better as a decision maker. And now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he gets paid a boatload of money. But that's ultimately what it was for Josh Allen, was just becoming a better pocket passing quarterback. And I think that's what Brian Dable really did for him. He helped him do that. He rebuilt the Bills' offensive scheme after 2 years to make it work for Josh Allen. I think that's really important. So if anyone's going to build a scheme that works for Daniel Jones, it's going to be Brian Dable, and I'm really excited to see that take fruition. However, even still, I'm not banking on him having a successful season. I would love to see it happen. I hope it happens. And maybe I would even place a bet that he does have a good year, but I'm still not going to pick up the fifth-year option because, as you mentioned, Alex, he can play phenomenal this season. He can be an elite quarterback. I don't care. Just franchise tag him next season. Next season, we have $90 million in cap space. What difference does that extra $5 to $7 million make? You're still going to have to negotiate a new deal for him anyway. Whether you pick up the fifth-year option or you franchise tag him, you're instantly, after making that decision, going to have to negotiate a long-term contract with him at next offseason. So for me, it's a no-brainer. You just don't pick up the option. You see how he plays this year, and then if he plays well, you franchise tag him, and you negotiate a new deal going forward. But the fifth-year option doesn't really it's not necessary, in my opinion, for Daniel Jones. Again, if he was like an obvious surefire player like Patrick Mahomes, obviously you pick up that fifth-year option because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. That's not what Daniel Jones is. Some might argue that Daniel Jones is the 26th or 30th ranked starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's that low on the list, but at that point, if he is even close to that low on the list, well, what's the point in picking up the fifth-year option? There just isn't a point. There's not much of a difference between the 32nd ranked quarterback and the 25th ranked quarterback. Regardless, you're still in the bottom 7 quarterbacks in the NFL, so I'm not paying you $22 million for your fifth-year option. I just don't think it's necessary, and I think that it's something that, the Giants are just going to have to wait and see on Daniel Jones, see how he plays this year, 1 year under his belt with good coaching, hopefully. Hopefully he finally gets that good coaching staff that he needed, can find success, and then be the option long-term. We can, maybe negotiate a long-term deal down the line. But right now, as things stand, Daniel Jones just has not proven enough to earn that fifth-year option, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the number one thing to consider here is that Daniel Jones is going into another bad situation. This is his third offensive scheme in 3 years. He has brand new coaches. He's going to have a brand new offensive line. A lot of them will be rookies and younger players who how much can you really depend on rookies all the time to get it done at a high level? This is a year where he has to play well to save his job with the Giants, and he's really facing a lot of challenges. And I think that's a big, big concern. And the Giants simply, if I was to put my money on it, I'd probably bet on him having an average season, nothing more, nothing less. I don't know if average is going to get it done for him, honestly. I don't know if an average season will get it done for him in terms of convincing management that he's the future of this team. But I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say in the YouTube comments below. If you think that we should pick up the fifth-year option, if you think Daniel Jones is the guy and he will prove it. I think the position he's in is kind of tough. If we had a better offensive line, better coaching already instituted, and the scheme was already deployed and they knew what was going on, I think it's going to take time, maybe half the season for them to get into the groove, and maybe even a full year to really understand the system and the logistics and the verbiage and everything. I think I would say that Daniel Jones has a much better chance of proving himself, but right now it's tough, man. I don't know if I can stand here and sit here and tell you that he's going to be the guy moving forward. So I hope he is, man. I really hope he is. But again, it's impossible to tell at this point in time. He has the tangible traits, but does he have the time and does he have the ability to soak up all the information and display it on the field in conjunction with everybody else in the offense? Because it's not just him, it's everybody has to play at a better level for him to look better. So I think that really plays into it, but I'm really curious to hear your opinions below on the YouTube channel. Much love as always. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe and have an awesome weekend.